Hi guys! Today I want to talk to you about blush placement. You may have seen there is a new makeup trend called draping. However, it is not anything new, just like they renamed highlighting strobing earlier this year. Draping really is just a technique of blush application that was made it was very popular back in the 80s. A makeup artist by the name of Wayne Bandy, who worked on celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor and Cher. He is one of the ones really at the forefront of the so-called draping, which is really contouring with your blush. So it's a much more obvious, it's more of a dramatic type of blush, so it doesn't look as natural. I'm going to show you how you would do that, but then I'm also going to show you how to adjust it based on where you fall into the age spectrum, because we do need to apply blush in a different way when we're typically over 30 than we did when we were younger. So I have already done this side, and I want to show you how you would do that. So if you are doing draping, you're basically going to use two colors. So you want two complementary colors of blush. One that is a little deeper than the other, which you're going to use to really sculpt out the cheekbone, and then you want a lighter, brighter color that you're going to layer on top of that. So what I'm going to use are these two shades on the bottom. This is a blush duo by Mirabella. It's called Blissful. So I'm going to use a contour blush brush. If you don't have one of those, you could use a fan brush. I would not recommend using a regular blush brush because it's too dense and fat, so it'll be much harder to concentrate the blush underneath the cheekbone. So, and actually, since most people don't have a contour brush, I'll actually do the fan brush so you can see how to do it. So I'm going to take the darker color, and I'm just going to lightly slide my brush across the pigment, tap it off, and then you're going to go underneath the cheekbone. So if you show the hollows, like pucker, and where you can see the natural shadow, that's where this is going to be placed. So you're going to take it and concentrate underneath the cheekbone. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you continue blending, because we don't want to see a hard line of demarcation where color starts and color stops. So I'm just going to continue going back and forth. And as I'm doing that, I'm kind of working upward onto the cheekbone. So it starts here, and then we kind of gradually blend it upwards to the top of the cheek plane. But we want most of the color down here on the bottom. Another thing is to make sure that you don't bring it around to the front of your face. If you were to take a straight edge and line it up with your pupil, there should be no color from here over. The center of the face should always be bright. So if you come in, especially if you're older, like I am, it's very difficult for that as you're blushing, putting the blush on. It's very difficult to keep it from coming over a little bit just because of the flatness we have on our face, but I'll show you how to fix that as well. Okay, so we've got this color very blended upwards onto the cheekbone, and then I'm going to take the lighter color. And I'm going to switch brushes. Now I am going to use a regular blush brush. So I'm going to go in for this lighter shade in the duo. And if you use this particular product, it is super pigmented, so make sure you don't over apply. Definitely tap it off. It's a lot easier to build color than it is to wipe it away. So with this one, I'm going to take it and I'm going to start right at the top edge and a little bit more to the front, so not necessarily the apple of the cheek, but the highest part of the cheek plane. And same thing, you're just kind of blending in circles, working back towards the hairline, but the color should fade as it gets towards the hairline. But basically you want to see more of the carved out, more of the sculpted cheek here. So if you do have more of, we lose a lot of the fullness in our face as we age. So what I'll do is I'll always take just a really nice fluffy brush with nothing on it and make sure that I really go underneath my eye and down here so that it did, if it came over closer to in towards my nose, past the center of the pupil, we can diffuse that color because I don't want to close the center of the face. And then the last step is to take a highlighter, or I really like to use, this is called Lumiere. It is a radiance powder from one of my favorite brands, Hint Beauty. I have written about them before, and we'll have some upcoming reviews of their products soon. So I am going to take a fan brush. I'm going to just put a little bit in my cap, get it really nice into the tip of the brushes, tap it off, and then I'm going to just go all the way across that. So we're really starting at the highest point of the cheek, and then we're going to go over and overlap. So this really softly diffuses the color and makes a really nice smooth transition from your darker shade to your lighter shade. So, and I did use the contour brush over here, so it picked up a little bit more pigment, so they're going to be a little off. But now I want to show you, if you don't want to do the draping, because it is definitely a technique that is more dramatic. So if you're somebody that, like me most of the time, I prefer for my makeup to look very natural. I would rather it look like I have a natural flush as opposed to carving out or sculpting or contouring my face. So when we do that, what we would do is, again, always remember that we don't want to come past the center of the eye in towards the nose. The center, if you had a little triangle, this should always be light. So if we were going to use two colors, which I always do, and actually I really like to layer textures as well. So I always start with a cream blush, and then after I put my powder on, then I'll use blushes. And the reason that is helpful is it's a lot more work to do the no makeup look. It requires a lot of skill, and you're layering colors, complementary colors, so that you have a lot of dimension instead of it looking flat like just one color of blush. When you layer your products like that, especially when you layer cream texture and then powder texture, it gives a much more natural look, and it's going to last throughout the day much longer. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and kind of soften that a little bit to show you where to place. Okay, so what I would do is I would begin at the highest point. So if I were looking forward, the highest point of my cheek, not the apple of the cheek, the highest point, and that's where I'm going to apply my color. So I am going to go in with this peach shade. So I just used this peach color right here. That is a color, a duo called Glowing. So I'm going to take it, high point of my cheek, little circles, gently working back towards the hairline. You want color to fade as it gets towards the hairline. Then I like to hit the brow bone, especially if you've got deep set eyes like I do. And then you would go in with a darker color, which this one has more of a bronzy shade. And then you're going to do the opposite. Where we did the draping, we used the darker shade first. You're going to go in with this one and just lightly go on top, but not sculpting. And I'm just lightly going over the peach shade that we used. And again, I'm going to hit my brow bone. And with that tan color, I'll also warm up the temple, the jawline, and down the center of the face, down my nose. So you can see how with this side I didn't hit the warm up the face and the temples and the jawline. So this really kind of looks more harmonious. It's all kind of blends together, and you wouldn't have noticed it unless I had done this side, most likely. But now you can see by pointing it out that there's no color here and no color here. So that's why I always like to finish with a little bit where the sun would naturally hit my face. Okay, so there we go. That is the draping technique, as well as showing you how to apply blush if you are more mature and we don't want to put on the apples of the face because it will accentuate the hollowness in the cheeks. Thanks so much for checking my blog or YouTube channel. I really appreciate you watching my videos, and I'd love your feedback, especially if you are reading this on my blog. Post your comments below if you have any questions. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you back here real soon. Have a great day.